There are a lot of motherboards available on the market, but choosing the wrong motherboard can waste your money and your valuable time. So, be sure to get a little bit of information about the product before buying the product. In this video, I will show you the top 5 best motherboards of 2024. After extensive research and testing, I've made this list. But the issue is that a motherboard might work great for one person, but might not be the best for you because most motherboards are not made with the same people in mind, which is why I made sure to include options for all types of situations. So regardless of what you're looking for, I'll have the perfect motherboard for you. Links to all products mentioned in the video are in the description below, which are updated for the best prices. Like the video, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Now let's get started. Number 5. NZXT N7 B550. The B550 chipset replaced AMD's aging B450 chipsets on the market with some noteworthy improvements like PCIe 4.0 for GPUs and SSDs, dual GPU configurations, and more. The B550 motherboards are recommended for those who are not looking to splurge a lot of money to get the premium X570 features, and NZXT's N7 B550 is our pick in that regard. NZXT worked with Aorus to build the N7B 550 motherboard for AMD CPUs. It's one of the cleanest, best-looking motherboards you'll find, taking design cues from NZXT's signature line of PC cases. The majority of the board is covered in an easily removable shroud, and it's behind these panels you'll install your M2 SSDs. On the features side, the NZXT N7 B550 motherboard includes PCIe 4.0 support, Wi-Fi 6E, as many as 6 SATA ports, and plenty of USB ports on the rear I/O. The motherboard also has fantastic power delivery to support even an overclocked Ryzen 9 5950X. Notably, the N7 B550 motherboard also supports 5 GBE, so you're not missing out on Ethernet either. The NZXT N7 B550 is also known to handle performance well. It supports overclocking and can handle even the Ryzen 9 5950X at peak frequencies. VRM cooling can comfortably support even the most demanding AMD CPUs on the market, and it has a 12+2+2 phase power design. Number 4. Asus ROG Maximus Z 790 Hero. Of the new generation of Z790 motherboards for Intel 12th and 13th Gen CPUs, the Asus ROG Maximus Z 790 Hero is one of the most expensive. But it's also one of the most impressive, and until someone like Kingpin comes along, probably the board of choice for enthusiasts and overclockers. It's a perfect companion to the new Intel Core i9-13900K if you're looking to push it to its limits. In that regard, the quality VRMs, 20+1 phase power design, and support for water cooling, well, basically everything, will come in handy. That said, the included heatsinks are extremely beefy and will do a decent job on their own. The BIOS is full-featured and solid while being approachable for newcomers. But it isn't just built for overclocking, it's packing everything any enthusiast could want in building a killer PC. That starts with the sheer quantity of options. Naturally, it supports up to 128 GB of DDR5 memory, but you also have a pair of PCIe 5.0 x16 slots, PCIe 4 expansion, M2 SSD support, Thunderbolt 4, Wi-Fi 6E, RGB, 2, 5G Ethernet, and even killer audio. As an additional bonus, Asus includes its Hyper Expansion card, which can be used for either a PCIe 5.0 SSD when they're available, or a pair of PCIe 4.0 SSDs to run in one of the expansion slots. If a motherboard were to tick all the boxes, it's this one. Number 3. Asus ROG Strix X570E Gaming. The Asus ROG Strix X570E gaming motherboard is one of the current flagship chipsets for AMD AM4 builds. It brings full support for PCIe 4.0, including devices connected to both its CPU integrated controllers. This isn't the best motherboard for AMD builds, but it brings a good mix of features and performs well for the price. The Asus ROG Strix X570E gaming motherboard features AMD's AM4 socket, which means it'll support Ryzen 3000 as well as Ryzen 5000 series processors. You can install up to 128 GB of RAM using the 4 DIMM slots on this board. This motherboard also comes with a good selection of ports by any standard. Asus has included as many as 7 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports, an optical SPDIF out, a 2.5 GB LAN, Wi-Fi, as well as an additional USB 3.2 Gen 2 USB-C port. You also get a DisplayPort and HDMI for Ryzen CPUs with integrated graphics. The Strix X570E gaming motherboard also has plenty of RGB connectors and pump headers for water cooling. Most motherboards these days have enough fan headers, so that's not an issue here either. Notably, you get 3 M2 slots, a few SATA ports, and even PCI slots for connecting other components like, say, a sound card. As a premium motherboard from a reliable manufacturer, the Strix X570E also comes with high-quality components and a great power delivery system. Of the new generation of Z 790 motherboards for Intel 12th and 13th Gen CPUs, this is one of the most expensive, but it's also one of the most impressive, and until someone like Kingpin comes along, probably the board of choice for enthusiasts and overclockers. It's a perfect companion to the new Intel Core, i9-13900K if you're looking to push it to its limits. In that regard, the quality VRMs, 20+1 phase power design, and support for water cooling, well, basically everything will come in handy. That said, the included heatsinks are extremely beefy and will do a decent job on their own. The BIOS is full-featured and solid, while being approachable for newcomers. Number 2. Gigabyte Z 790 Aorus Master. The Z 790 chipset supports both 12th and 13th Gen Intel CPUs and is the latest flagship chipset for the company's products. As such, the Gigabyte Z 790 Aorus Master is our pick for the best overall Intel motherboard right now. Its price, features and performance combine to help it rise to the top. The Gigabyte Z 790 Aorus Master comes with 4 DIMM slots with support for up to 128 GB of RAM. This particular motherboard supports DDR5 memory kits, which means you will not be able to use your older DDR4 kits. According to Gigabyte, this board supports up to DDR5 8000 memory speeds. It's not necessarily built for serious overclocking, but you can certainly squeeze additional performance out of the processor without issue. Another noteworthy feature of the Gigabyte Z 790 Aorus Master is the fact that it also supports PCIe Gen 5.0. While you can't take advantage of the PCIe 5.0 slot just yet, we still think it's good to have support for future peripherals. The Aorus Master motherboard also has 5 M2 slots, and you also get as many as 4 SATA 6GB/S connectors with support for RAID 0, 1, 5, and 10. As one of the high-end Z790 motherboards, the Aorus Pro also comes with plenty of connectors and headers to connect all your external peripherals, including fans, pumps, RGB lights, and more. The Asus ROG Strix X570E gaming motherboard is one of the current flagship chipsets for AMD AM4 builds. It brings full support for PCIe 4.0, including devices connected to both its CPU integrated controllers. This isn't the best motherboard for AMD builds, but it brings a good mix of features and performs well for the price. The Asus ROG Strix X570E gaming motherboard features AMD's AM4 socket, which means it'll support Ryzen 3000 as well as Ryzen 5000 series processors. You can install up to 128 GB of RAM using the 4 DIMM slots on this board. This motherboard also comes with a good selection of ports by any standard. Asus has included as many as 7 USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type A ports, an optical SPDIF out, a 2.5 GB LAN, Wi-Fi, as well an additional USB 3.2 Gen 2 USB-C port. Number 1. Asus ROG Strix X 670EE Gaming. This is the almost same motherboard as another in this collection by name, but it has a very different socket and chipset. This Asus ROG Strix X 670E Gaming is quite the motherboard, designed for AMD Ryzen 7000 series processors. It's got DDR5 RAM support, PCIe 5.0, and the new AM5 socket for good measure. The 18+2 stage power design is fantastic for overclocking your CPU, especially if you're planning to use one of the non-X AMD Ryzen 7000 CPUs. Both full-size X16 PCI slots support the newer PCIe 5.0 standard. Both X16 slots are armoured, and most of the available M2 slots also support PCIe 5.0, so you can upgrade this PC further down the line with faster components. The all-black 8-layer PCB is paired with matching heatsinks, and a splash of RGB looks as stylish as ever, but it's not just skin deep. You have addressable RGB headers to sync your entire build using Asus Aura. And as is so often the way, Asus takes care to include premium quality audio hardware on its best motherboards. Overclockers will get some good mileage too, and the LED display in the top right-hand corner to display error codes is a welcome touch. There are also more ports on this thing than you could ever use at once, as well as Wi-Fi 6E and 2, 5G Ethernet. It puts a tick in all the important boxes. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked this video. If this video was helpful to you, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. It's free. Let us know in the comments down below which best motherboard you're going to choose. If you have any questions related to the products we listed here, leave a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as I can.